Hello and welcome. So today we're going to build an About Me app. So if you start in Xcode and we're going to create a new Xcode project. And when it comes up, we always use iOS and app. That's very important. So I'm just going to make this a little bit smaller if it goes any smaller. And I'm then going to hit, with my iOS app selected, I'm going to hit next. Then we're going to give it a product name. So this is what we want to call it. So because it's an About Me app, let's call it About Me. Your organization identifier can say stack for forever, really, if you want it to. And we're going to use SwiftUI from now on anyway. And use core data and include tests as both unchecked because we don't need to do either of those things. Then we hit next. It's going to ask where we want to save it. I'm just going to put mine on the desktop for now, and we're not creating a Git repository. Sometimes that causes an error. So we don't need that either. Hit create. It might take a second. Your computer might lag. Might even get the wheel of death. Beach ball of death, some people call it. And if you've done it right, you should see a content view. So first thing I'm going to do is clear up some real estate on my screen just because I don't have a lot of space. So I'm going to hide the navigator. So it gives me a bit more space. And on this side, I don't need the properties window either, or the inspectors. So I'm going to hide that one too. Now, at the moment, we're running an iPod Touch. That's fine for me. If you want, you can change to any device you want. I suggest going for an iPhone or an iPod. The iPads show lists a little bit differently, and we are creating a list after all. When you're ready, hit resume, and I'm just going to make my size of my device 75% so I can again fit more into my view so you guys can see what's going on. And there we have it. So we've got Hello World in our iPhone 12 Pro Max. So the next step, I'm going to replace this text and padding. I'm going to delete that for now. And it's going to cause an error because our body, our view cannot be blank. There's our error. So let's fix this up. So we're going to have a vertical stack, or VStack for short. It might take a second, and then all of these errors will disappear again. And we have an empty view. So we have a vertical stack with nothing in it. Now the first thing I want to put in is some text. It says About Me. Now even better would be your name. So I'm going to use Mr. Baumeister, but it'd be great to actually add your name. And we're also going to give this a font of, let's go large title. So it's going to be really nice and big. There you go. Now underneath that text, I'm going to have a list of all of the different things that are about me. So I'm going to start with list, capital L, and we open our squiggly bracket. Notice it creates the closed bracket for me. That's really important. So you do it step by step. And you can see your view is updated. So my name is at the top, and then we're going to put our list down below. So some of the things that we might want to know about each other, one of the first things was name, or which you've already got at the top, and it might be your age is the next most interesting fact, right? So we're just going to create a horizontal stack with text that says age, and then a spacer, and then a text that says your actual age. Or even better, let's go dates of birth. And you can see it updates here. Now, the role of the spacer, it is kind of like a blank object that fills the gap. It automatically resizes to fill what's ever left. And I'll show you what it does. So my birthday was on the 11th of the 2nd, 1991. And you can see it appears here. Now, if I did not have this spacer here, if I comment it out, so the Xcode ignores it, or you can even just delete it, whatever, you'll notice what happens with your date of birth and your 1102. See how they're next to each other? So the spacer has a really vital job in separating content for me. So SwiftUI is all about your lists, your H stacks, your vertical stacks, your V stacks, and your spacers. That's how you kind of get everything to sit where you want it to. Now that is our first kind of about me fact, right? So what I might do next is I might put in some of my favorite things. So to do that, I'm going to put this H stack in what's what we call a section. Actually, no, let's leave it for now. Let's put a section after the H stack. So in here in our list, we're going to add a section called favorites, like this. And again, simulator should show favorites. Now that section is always full caps, which is totally fine. It doesn't really matter. This kind of mirrors like your settings window in your iPhone. And I'm going to then copy my H stack and paste it into favorites. And it's going to create another date of birth inside my favorites section, like this. Now, date of birth is not a favorite, so let's change this to food. And my favorite food is a lasagna. Interesting that people spell lasagna all different ways. That could be a lasagne with an E or an A, or depends, I suppose, where you are from. So lasagna. So then I'm going to copy this H stack food, and then I'm going to paste it. And let's do our favorite color. And again, here's my favorite food. Then favorite color is lasagna. That doesn't make sense. So let's change this color from lasagna to, my favorite color is purple. There's purple. Now, that doesn't look very interesting yet. So what I want to do is I'm going to put on text purple. And I'm going to change the foreground color, which is the text color. And I'm going to use the predefined purple that's already there in Swift. And you'll notice the purple will change color. It might take a second. There it is, the purple. Now, that's not my favorite shade of purple. That's not a very nice color. But you'll notice it's not very detailed, bold too. And the Swift reads from top to bottom. So I want to kind of change colors and do that kind of thing last. And I want to modify the text first. So now we've got our text, which is purple, and it is the foreground color purple, which is really nice. Now, if you wanted to change the lasagna text using Control, Command, and Spacebar, you can actually add like an emoji in as well. So I'm going to look for lasagna and see what comes up. Lasagna doesn't come up either. Let's try pasta. You don't have to have an emoji either. There's not many food emojis here for some reason, but you'll see it pops up. It's kind of cool. Now, what I might do, I might grab this H stack for food, lasagna, and I might paste it below my favorite color and my favorite animal. And for me, it's a dog. And same as before, Control, Command, Spacebar, and I'm going to use this one. And so you can kind of see your app coming together really nicely. So you can see how you can have like your date of birth and your favorites. If you wanted to create a new section, all you got to do is outside of this section, so if you're not sure where it finishes, you can find this bracket. If you double click on it, it'll highlight all that section, and then you know where to put the next section below that. So you could create another section. Why don't we put hobbies or interests? Interests. And we'll have another section down the bottom here, so favorites and then interests. So we can have, interests can be animals. Now, in my case, it's martial arts, judo, and then we could have another element, Australian cars, 1980 to 2010s. And you can kind of see it all comes up. And one favorite, one more interest, I should say, PC games. Real-time strategy is my favorite. And so that's how we create a list. So you can see all different kinds of structures there. We've got an item that's not actually in a section up top. And then we have our section favorites, which starts here and has foods, color, and animal. And then we have a section interest below, and that's kind of got not H stacks, but got other text elements.